Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Hopefully everybody's getting ready for Halloween. I remember it used to be celebrated a whole lot more. Then things kind of tapered off just a little bit. But then when 45 was in office, I noticed that our neighborhood really got back into decorating their houses for Christmas as well as Halloween. It was a lot of fun. But it's really sad now to go out and see that we're about 10% of where it used to be. And I'm sure it has a lot to do with the economy and the cost of living these days. But I like it when people get into celebrating the holidays. Although I'm not a fan of any of them but one, and that's just Halloween. Our whole street, only one house is decorated. It's really sad. So hopefully in your neighborhood, they are a lot more celebratory and that the houses are all dressed up and are ready for the holidays. Because for me, that's one way to gauge what's really going on is checking out the houses around holiday time. Anyways, let's get into what's going on over in Iraq, shall we? Before we get started, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. And if you're not a subscriber, please do so. Because when you do, it helps out the channel. And I certainly do appreciate it. You can follow me over on other platforms. I do have my own group over on Facebook called Pimpy's Investment Chat. Over here, we do talk about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investments. So head on over here and join us. It's free to do so. In here, I do post updates. If I should get on suspension from YouTube or get removed from YouTube and you want to know what happened to me, I'll let you know right here in this group. I can be found on Twitter, MeWe, YouTube, and the cool thing about YouTube, if you come over here and you join and you find my channel, I got videos going back, I believe, a couple years. So if you want to see some older videos that I have on Nasera, Jacera, gold, silver, cryptos, come on over here and join. Look me up and check out my videos. You can also find me on Odyssey. Catch me on Rumble. When I say that the links for all these are down below in the description, some of you don't know what I'm talking about. It's real simple. Just go down to the bottom right here of any of my videos. See this? This is the description. Hit show more. And there are all the links to all the platforms I just spoke about. Well, now talk about putting a smackdown on banks. More than 100 billion dinar fines of the Central Bank of Iraq on banks and exchange companies. Yikes. Said the Central Bank of Iraq announced on Sunday that the fines imposed on banks and non-banking institutions, exchange companies, amounted to more than 104 billion Iraqi dinars during the past 9 months. A table of the bank seen by the news showed that the fines imposed on banks and financial companies during the past 9 months and starting from January and until September amounted to 104,769,332,606 dinars, indicating that the fines also include 348 administrative penalties for these banks and non-banking institutions distributed between warnings. The table indicated that April witnessed the highest fines for banks and non-financial institutions as these fines reached 17 billion and 444,383,447 dinars, with administrative penalties amounting to 17 penalties, while June witnessed the lowest fines, reaching 8,353,387,476 dinars, with administrative penalties of 50 penalties. So good Lord, they had less penalties and paid more money their first go around. The table did not show the names of the banks on which fines and administrative penalties were imposed. The Association of Investors in Iraq Stock Exchange criticized in early June the Central Bank of Iraq increasing fines on banks, noting that it will affect the profitability of investors in the shares of these banks. Well, also, you'll get a lot of pressure from investors for banks to act right, in fear of having investors pull out if they don't. So Al-Sadini heads back over to Washington, I see. Said the expert on the Iraqi American affairs and relations revealed the files that must be clarified in the bag of Prime Minister Al-Sadini in his visit to Washington. Sadallah said in the program, which is broadcasted by satellite news, the Sudanese visit to Washington must bring in his bag of achievements to prove to the American ally how he will deal with in terms of the oil economy, the dollar, and the banking system, bank and others. The Sudanese sent Washington to solve the dollar problem and made great efforts, but the dollar problem is more internal than external and in the hands of those who control prices. Well, no, they can't have it both ways, because if you remember last time, they said it was pretty much in the hands of the United States, and the United States was causing all these issues. Now they're saying it's internal. Al-Sadini supports American and regional support and America is pressing the region to avoid mass chaos. Look, so far, in all fairness, Iraq has managed to stay out of the crap that's going on over there, despite calls by Sauder to get involved. He pointed out that investment companies refrain from entering Iraq because of the bad banking system, and the United States has demanded an internationally recognized bank system to invest their companies into the country. The evolution of any government is carried out in a period of 3 to 6 months, and all political forces agree to support the current prime minister. And Iraq is affected by the events of the region and makes the task of the Sudanese difficult. He added that the imbalance is not in the prime minister, but in the forces that claim to support the Sudanese and provoke crisis to disrupt his work. Yeah, two-faced people. Come on, man. Think about who he's working with, the coordinated framework. There are still forces that control Iraq and its internal policies, and we do not have the freedom to choose the decisions 100%. But if the political forces strongly support the prime minister, they will implement all decisions. The Prime Minister al-Sudani received an official invitation from the United States to visit the White House after months of ongoing debate inside Iraq about Washington postponing the visit, which has been much delayed since al-Sudani took office late October. So I don't know what he's going to gain by actually visiting with Joe Biden. In case you guys haven't paid attention, he is really on a decline, really bad. Mentally, physically, it's just really bad. And they're talking about him running for another term. That's not going to happen. Said the central bank is unable to defend exchange rates. What does this mean? Said the economic advisor confirmed on Sunday that the weakness of the central bank in defending the exchange rate will lead to an increased risk to financial stability and the Iraqi economy. Well, what happens is this black market devalues the currency. If they are trading you 1,600 dinars for every dollar, but the official exchange rate is 1,300, they're actually devaluing the currency by doing that, which is the wrong thing. We want them to go in the opposite direction. So commercial markets and the business sector suffer greatly from instability and a weak ability to adapt to rising exchange rates. The central bank, for its part, has not yet been able to carry out a successful intervention that works to correct exchange rates and stabilize the markets. I'm sure, like so many of you out there, I'm saying the same thing, and that is increase the value of the Iraqi dinar. At least get it back up to 1,190 dinars for every dollar. This indicates that the Iraqi central bank has reached the point of being unable to defend targeted official exchange rates, and this weakness will naturally lead to increased risk to financial stability of the Iraqi economy, which is what we don't want. This is what I've been saying. Their economy is not stable. And you got people out there going, yes, it is. Pimpy's wrong. I keep saying the dollar is not stable. Yes, it is. Pimpy's wrong. The country is not stable. And we see article after article saying the same thing. Outside investors are not going to come in because the dollar is not stable, because of civil unrest, because the government is corrupt and unstable. Al-Sudani is doing a great job of trying to move Iraq forward, but he does have some hurdles that are in front of him. I still think the Iraqi dinar is going to go up in increments, and I'm anticipating them now to do at least one increase before the end of the year. It looks like they don't have any choice, and I'm curious to see what they're going to do. Remember, parliamentary finance, a great delay in budget decisions and agreements by the region. Still fussing over the budget. The Parliamentary Finance Committee explained on Monday that the budget decisions and political agreements are witnessing a great delay on the part of the Kurdistan region. A member of the Parliament Finance Committee, with regards to the delay in the launch of financial amounts for the Kurdistan region, because the file of monies between the governments of the center and the region is often after the approval of the budget, a dispute over the financing of the region's salaries by the central government. There are obligations under the budget decisions and political agreements, and some of these commitments are performed by the regional government towards the central government in terms of oil export dues and the fulfillment of these commitments, which is witnessing a great delay on the part of the region. Look, there's always going to be one excuse or another for them to cause a delay. All this bickering back and forth is not fair for those individuals who are busting their ass at work expecting to get a paycheck. Democrats announced the day of sending Baghdad 700 billion dinars to the Kurdistan government. Remember how they said they agreed to this so many times and that they sent the money? I said, don't count on it. Not unless it's in their bank account. Until it's in their bank account, don't believe it. They say this all the time, and then they never send the money. So again, there's talk about the money coming, but let's wait until it's actually in our bank account. The leader of the Kurdistan Democratic Party announced the day of sending Baghdad 700 billion dinars to the Kurdistan regional government. The region is expected to receive tomorrow, Tuesday, the loan of 700 billion dinars from the prior agreement between the center and the region for the last 3 months of the year. The region is waiting for the launch of the second mill of loans, noting a delay by the federal minister of finance despite the prior approval of the prime minister. All loans are deducted from the regional share of the budget, and the amount of the money received by the region from Baghdad at the end of the year is determined. The Ministry of Finance and Economy in Kurdistan region said that after the completion of the procedures, Baghdad will send 700 billion dinars to bank accounts in the regions through the Rashid Bank, Rafidian, and Commercial Bank of Iraq. This comes as a government delegations headed by the Minister of Finance and Economy is preparing a visit to Baghdad and discuss the issues of salary of KRG employees with Iraqi government officials. This budget was passed how long ago, and they're still fighting over items on the budget? They still haven't sent the money that they promised to send a long time ago? This is the ongoing problem with Iraq. There's always one issue after another. They need to just keep their nose clean, stay out of trouble, get the money where it belongs, get projects started so that the people can get back to work, get paid regularly, and strengthen the economy along with the Iraqi dinar. Anyways, that's it for now. Let me know what you think. I look forward to your comments, and I'll get back at you later. I'm out.